All righty. It's just loading up here. I'm checking the group. And we are live.
Whoop, whoop. Taco Tuesday.
You're sure it's not Margarita Monday?
We need to do a Margarita Monday. I love the idea of that.
I do too.
Well, everybody, welcome to Taco Tuesday. Thank you so much for being here today. And Glenn is back.
Yay.
Welcome back, Glenn.
Thanks for having me back. I missed you guys.
You were missed. Like, everyone would get so bored talking to just me. They're just like looking at their watch. They're like, is this thing almost over? I'm like,
what?
Damn it, I wish Glenn was here.
You're just looking for compliments. You're fishing.
Did our ratings go down? Did we lose sponsorship deals, Christian?
Since
I was gone.
Well, since the Justin one, they fell off. But I that's why we had to bring in the real heavy hitters today. We have Gaylan Hendricks here with us, the queen of the bundle. Gaylan,
Okay.
thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure anytime we can do anything with you. Anytime I've ever been able to do a video with you, I've walked out of it just with a big smile on my face.
Aw.
So thank you so much for being here.
Don't you call her your Medicare mom?
She is.
Your Medicare mom?
She's not just my Medicare mom. She is like the whole industry's Medicare mom, you know.
We should have Medicare Mom Monday, and just sing it like the mamas and the papas. Medicare Mom
like that.
Monday, that kind of thing.
I love it.
Because
I love
everyone's
it.
so stressed right now.
With margaritas. Medicare
With
mom Mondays.
margaritas, exactly.
Yes. I'm into it. I'm committed. I want to do a margarita Monday one of these days.
I'm down. And we could do Vino Wednesdays.
Now we're talking. Tacos are overrated.
So before we start on here, I just wanted to unveil. I got some real fancy tacos today.
Gosh, I knew you would. Where? Where from?
So it's from this place called Corn House.
That just sounds good.
And they opened up near our office, like just around the block here. And they have these corn, rice, and bean tacos. And they're chili verde and everything. They're just really, really good.
I love the green sauce.
It's my favorite.
Talking my language. That is my love language. You can do all these tests, but there is nothing better than Tex-Mex. I don't need people to say I love you. I just need them to say, let's go to Enchiladas Olay or Mi Casina, and I'm hooked.
Well, you guys have the best Mexican food anywhere in Texas. And it's not even close. So when 8% rolls around next month, I'm looking forward to, engorging myself, if you will.
Which, by the way, I know you had Scotty O'Brien on not too long ago.
Yes.
And he was talking about Velvet Taco and all these places he loves. Well, he's kind of a transplant, from South Dakota to here. So I'll have to take all of us to the most run-down dive shack. And that is where we will be indoctrinated to good Mexican food.
I love it. I love it.
That's where all the good foods in the dive-in shacks.
Yeah. Oh man, you ask some of the guys around here. I can make some carne guisada. You would think I got the Mexican in me, and I wish I did because I love the food.
So Gaylan, who would win in a cook-off, you or Tony Merwin?
Well, it depends what we're making. If he's doing the brisket, I'm not even in the same league. I salivate when he posts that stuff. Why does he not share? He could freeze back that stuff and send it to his friends. But if it came down to carne guisada,
yes, please.
I'm kicking his butt. Hands down. It's over.
A challenge.
Yeah, and I can also make some good Colorado chili verde too. And I don't know why they call it Colorado because, man, Texas knows how to do that stuff up right. But, we lean towards beef more than pork, so I'll give them that one. But I make those two very well. I love to cook Mexican food. So, yes, Tex-Mex.
Oof, I love it. I love it. Well, I know one thing we were going to talk about on here was, I know everybody wants to hear. I've gotten about 5 phone calls today from people I know in the industry. I'm not going to name any names, but just wanting to talk to me about this whole insurance soup thing. I got a lot of direct. So I woke up this morning and I must have had 100 notifications on Facebook, like at least.
Wow.
And I was like,
You're
my head was
famous.
about to explode. And a bunch of direct messages, people calling me. They're like, some people being like, there was a couple people that were like, if we could get you in contact, would you want to squash the beef? I'm like, there's no
Oh
beef.
my
I don't know.
gosh.
I don't know these guys. They're I don't have a relationship. There's no beef, I'm like, but
Let me before you get, I do want to hear more. I want to hear the whole
sweetest
story.
man in the world.
He is. I
The
also
fact
agree with that.
that you are getting even somebody calling, do you need to squash the beef? I would have like, well, they need to call me and squash it with me.
Well, here's the
I'm being
problem.
Nice.
I totally agree with you, Gaylan. But here's what I believe the problem is if you build a business that's centered on someone else's platform, whether you're building a business around Amazon, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is, that's a really scary thing because everyone has access to that same platform. You don't own the platform. The rules for that platform could change at any time. And I think that's kind of part of the reason this whole experience happens. And obviously it's not unique. I think a lot of us have kind of experienced this whole situation. But again, I'll kind of turn this back over to you, Christian, because for the details here.
It's your story. Hang tight. They may be delivering my groceries. I know this is serious. Hold on one second.
2020, everybody. Groceries are coming to our door.
Here's my grocery bill. But y'all keep talking. If she answers, I'll get off.
So, while we're waiting for the queen to come back.
That's okay. It was a solicitation call. Was it you, Glenn?
Yeah, it was me. It was my call. You want to save money on your Medicare supplement plan?
Hi, is this Gaylan? This is Eric over at Lead Heroes. We just
Oh my gosh.
That's
I might have had too much of that margarita right then, but y'all go right on ahead.
I don't think you've had enough.
Whoa.
That's what I think.
Some of those people
I second
watching
that.
out there would say differently, but we're okay with that.
Well, I'm looking at the comment sections, and like anytime Gaylan's on anything, there's always like tons of comments. They're like, "Oh, it's Gaylan. Gaylan's here. I want to watch Gaylan's here." So,
The queen of the bundle.
There's not anybody as beloved in the industry, I don't think, as Gaylan, and for good reason.
You gotta have a comedian in every industry.
Yeah. The Cliff Notes version of what happened. So basically I don't have any relationship with these guys. I don't know them from Adam. If I ran into them on the street, I would not recognize them. It is what it is. I was in the group for 2 weeks. I never posted anything. I noticed I got thrown out about 4 or 5 months ago, which is, I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't know why I got thrown out, but who cares? I'm like, it's not a big part of what I do. It's not like if I got kicked out of
coming
Google.
to 8% Nation?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure. At the last one.
Maybe we all ought to have a drink together, Christian.
Oh man. Maybe so. I don't know. But
Okay.
But no, from my understanding with those guys is, they've built their business on the Facebook platform, like you said, Glenn. But
right, Facebook group.
They built their business with this persona that they're gonna be rougher and tougher than everybody and just bully people and windshield people. Basically, Justin put the post up saying that, hey guys, I posted this post in Insurance Soup, go check it out. And it proceeded to have a swarm of comments being like, hey, I can't see it. I got kicked out from people, just tons of people. So I come in and comment. I was like the 11th person or something like that. And I said, I'm like, I got kicked out too. And because it's me that said it, everybody reacted. They're like, wait, you got kicked out? Why you got kicked out? And
Christian Brindle got kicked out.
Which I'm like, so the guy sees my post and comes to start like attacking me, like brutally attacking me about it. And that's kind of where it started. And I took the approach. I'm like, you're not the only person with a platform, but yeah, it's just really strange, it's been an outpouring of people being like, they've been rude to me, or they kicked me out, or they did this to me, did that to me. Now I'm hearing everybody's story about interacting with these guys. It's not a big deal. I slept like a baby last night, and that's all I have to say about it.
Well, are they more life driven or health driven? I mean, I know they're going to be speaking at 8% Nation, but I don't know a ton about them.
It's almost exclusively built on PNC. And so, you know, when I was involved in this group early on, there really wasn't a whole lot of other insurance Facebook groups. And so that's why a lot of people went to their group. And I'm, you know, being on the life and health side of the business, like we are, and anyone else possibly listening to this, you know, obviously kind of split off and splintered off. We have all these different kind of Medicare senior insurance groups now, which I think is awesome. But yeah, I mean, I've had kind of my own sharing in there that I've been slapped many times on the hand, threatened to get booted out. And I'm just like, I don't want to participate. You know, if me sharing content to try to help someone out, you know, someone posted about CRMs, you know, what CRM system should I use? And I have an article on my website of 10 different CRMs. It's none of them are affiliate links. Nothing on that page was directly monetized. It's purely me offering content to try to help another agent out, you know, and kind of give them a point of view on the situation. And, you know, it was looked at as if I was totally just trying to self-promote myself. And I was just like, that wasn't the point of sharing at all.
I mean, here's the thing. That's what insurance is about. Is promoting yourself. I mean, the thing that I love about this business is that it doesn't matter gender, it doesn't matter color, doesn't matter race, doesn't matter age. You have a place in this business. You know, I have worked with insurance agents that have been 82 years old, and I've worked with insurance agents that were 18 years old. You know, so what if you're promoting yourself? I don't understand why that's even a problem. You know, one of the things that I think has become a big deal in these groups is lead companies that are coming in and they do the slip knot deal. And, you know, like I told you, Glenn, before we ever met, I told Christian, I want to do business with you. A lot of that has to do with the way people come in and advertise themselves, right? I think the day of cockiness, arrogance, and rudeness, everybody is at their level of it. You know, they just don't, they're over it. And a lot of it's because of what they're seeing on TV. But, you know, when I first started talking to Christian and he was telling me this, I was like you, Glenn, I was like, they kicked Christian out? What are they doing? Are they kicking little children to the side of the road? And, you know, these guys, I've gotten to kind of know, I think it's Michael McCormick. I think that's the right name.
Yeah.
When Cody Askins asked me to be on 8% Nation, he was one of the first ones that welcomed me. So when y'all were saying Insurance Soup, I'm like, I know them. I know that name. How do I know that? And I just looked it up on Facebook. But, you know, I just think it, and Christian and I were talking about this before you got on today. We are in the grumpy season of AEP. Everybody is wearing their heart on their sleeve. They're stressed to the max. I don't know if you guys know Faye Horton, but she has I sell MedicarePlans.com or I love Medicare Plans. You know, Christian, I suggested her to get to know you. She has a heart of gold. I mean, to me, that's like kicking Faye out of a group. You know, you would just never kick Faye out of a group. I mean, there's no doubt people that know me and have known me anytime, I can get testy if you pick on people I care about. But most of the time,
Mama's coming.
Hey, I'm easygoing. I don't play with fire because, one, this business has a short memory. I mean, you know, you might tick somebody off today and they may be mad at you for a couple of weeks. But one of the things, if you haven't gotten it in this industry, it's really big, but it's a small world. And
Super
if you
small.
tick off enough people, they're going to tell people about it. And one of the things that I always coach new agents on is like, look, don't burn that bridge. You may have to walk back over it. And walking back,
I saw it. You posted that the other day. I saw that post. Yeah, that was an excellent post.
Thank you. And It's because I've had to walk back over those. And if I was just so arrogant that I couldn't even speak to somebody, well, it's not just that person you're offending. Everybody else in the room starts wondering, why is that guy a nice guy and he doesn't like her, or he doesn't like him? And so it starts really hurting your character. And one of the things that I put in that post is people will fact check you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're out
Yeah.
there being
Yep.
braggy and
Making
saying,
stuff up.
saying you did something you didn't do,
I wrote $1 million last year.
oh, they're going to fact check it.
Yeah,
you
let's
know?
talk to a couple uplines, because if you wrote that much, I'm sure we can find out.
Oh, I had a lady agent private message me the other day. She had an issue with, I think it was Aetna, and she said, hey, I know you know people over there. Can you help me with this case? And I said, sure, let me see what I can do. And so I immediately, I don't know if y'all have ever met Jennifer Henson, but she's amazing at Aetna. And I literally just sent her a sweet text and just said, hey, can you check on this for us? And lo and behold, she had it handled in 5 minutes. Well, if you're out there creating, let's just, for the better word, is it 5 o'clock somewhere? It is. If they're out there creating crap, they're going to have crap come back at them super fast and super hard. Yep. And, you know, this is a copycat business, right? Mm-hmm. But there are certain things in this business that are proprietary. And you know when somebody has lifted your stuff, you know when somebody stole it or somebody's using it without your permission. And that's just wrong. I mean, I don't care who it is. I don't care what they're doing. It's just wrong. But there's going to come a time when there's going to be something really similar, like Medicare.gov, where everything in that book is going to be on everybody's portal or everybody's website. So we know what is not ours, and we know what is the Medicare world's to share. And I think if you do want help from another competitor or a friend, you pick up the phone, you call them, and you say, hey, can you help me with this? And one of the things I've learned in the Medicare world over the underage 65 world is they're a whole lot nicer in the Medicare world than they are in the old underage 65. But the old underage 65 is learning lessons every day and starting to come back and starting to be kinder. And I think we could really take a page out of a book and just literally say, hey, this is a testy season, but let's be kind to each other. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I mean, that dude might have had a bad day, but, you know, you don't take it out on somebody that's in your group. You pick up the phone or you email him. I mean, that's the cool thing about Facebook. You have a way of private messaging and saying, hey, what did you mean by that? Maybe I misunderstood. But it's so easy to just go off. And yeah, man, if attention's what you want, you're getting it. But I don't know if that's the kind of attention you want.
I mean, yeah, to kind of build off what you said there, Gaylan, which I loved everything you said. I do think we're getting to a point right now, and, you know, AEP is part of it. Obviously, in our world, we have the election, which is now 60, 70 days away, which is just right around the corner. We have this pandemic that's been building all year. We have unemployment benefits that like no longer exist for a lot of people that need them. You know, family members are getting sick. All of this stuff, I feel like, is coming to a boiling point. And there's just so much anger out there. So I definitely think we could all do better to try to give people a benefit of the doubt, especially your prospects. You know, if you're talking to someone and they're upset, you call a lead, right? They're screaming at you. Well, you know, oh, I'm sorry. Can I call you back at another time? You know, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Whatever the situation is, I definitely think we can do that. One thing that I really am dying to ask you, Gaylan, because this is our first time chatting, and I've heard this name, the Queen of the Bundle, so many times, and I love it. And I wanted to share a quick little kind of anecdotal story about cross-selling in my salesmanship history. So I got one of my first real sales jobs was at Verizon Wireless. And at Verizon Wireless, the sales training is really, listen, they're coming in, they're going to buy that cell phone. You don't need to sell them on the cell phone. They're at the store, they're going to buy the cell phone. Your job as a salesperson is to see what else in the store you can sell them. You know, hey, what are you doing for your home internet? Let's talk about the accessories for the device that you're buying today. Maybe you need internet on the go. They're cross-selling. They called it pull through. That was Verizon's cross-selling metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's ingenious. And I have asked insurance agents coming into the industry, and I've done my own cross-selling over the years. And I've talked to agents all the time. I'm like, why aren't you offering this? You're already talking to seniors. Why aren't you talking about cancer insurance? Why aren't you talking about final expense? Why aren't you talking about home health care, dental, whatever it is? And there's so much fear around losing the initial sale, right? I'm selling you Medicare. And this is what agents are telling me. They're saying, Glenn, I'm scared I'm not going to get this Medicare sale. And you're telling me to talk to him about XYZ. And the stats all show if you have multiple policies in the house, you're going to retain that policy more likely. That client's probably going to be happier. Again, personally, when I had someone who was paying more money in premium, they were typically happier clients, and they typically had a better persistency for me personally too. But I would love to hear more about kind of your history with cross-selling, what kind of drove you to getting this title, which I think is brilliant, and also a little bit about kind of what your go-to cross-selling is, like what products or policies are you typically cross-selling?
Well, so when I got started in the business, we were cross-selling everything. At the end of the day, the guy that I was working with, it was always, you can sell something to somebody. So when I started my own cross-selling in our company, really, I told everybody in our agency, we're bringing on this guaranteed issue dental, vision, and hearing product. And the last I checked, almost everybody you're going to talk to has either got their teeth, or they got their eyes, or they got their hearing. And if you're lucky, they got the trifecta. They got all of them. And so with this guaranteed issue plan, there's no reason not to sell something. So you always lead in with your lead product. So if it's an under age 65 lead, you're going to lead in with your base health insurance policy.
Ooh.
And I lost Glenn somehow.
Camera down. I'm back.
And so, and if it's MedSup, you're going to start with MedSup or Med Advantage. But one of the things that struck me, and it takes a lot to frustrate me or irritate me, but one of the things that happened in a call center we were training is I was teaching him how to sell cancer with Med Advantage. And his comment to me, and I think my business partner, Taylor, was there, he said, well, I'm not going to sell that garbage because I'm going to lose the Med Advantage sale. Ooh. And I said, well, why aren't you doing your job?
Yep.
Your job is to make sure your clients understand the product you're selling. And if they can't afford the $6,700 out of pocket for chemo and radiation, then you have them in the wrong plan. Yep. Because a zero premium plan is a pay-as-you-go plan. And not only are they going to be out $6,700, they're going to be out $6,700 times 2 most likely, because nobody gets diagnosed with cancer in January and finishes chemo in December. But that $6,700 resets. So if they get diagnosed in June, they start their first chemo in July, they're not finished by December 31st. They're going to start over. So now you've got 2 $6,700s. So the secret of selling a bundle is to be able to ask questions that start with, and Glenn, in telemarketing world, you never ask somebody a question that starts with does or do, because that promotes a yes or a no.
Right.
When you start a question with who, what, when, where, why, how,
yep.
The customer's going to answer. And so like you in the Verizon, who's going to pay for your phone if you lose it?
Yep.
Well, their mom and dad's not going to pay for it if they're in there buying it on their own. So they need the insurance on the phone.
Exactly.
So with cross-selling cancer, it's who's going to pay the $6,700? Will they be okay being the burden? Will they be okay handling the burden? Because what you need to ask that client is, if you can't afford $6,700 times 1 times 2, that's bad. But if you tell me you can't afford the monthly premium of $30, then that means for sure you can't afford $6,700. And you have a lot of agents that tend to take easy way outs. because it's easier to sell a hospital indemnity plan because it covers all illnesses. But even if a person has the worst cardiac event they can have, which is $114,000 surgery, the most they're going to be out of pocket is $1,450. They cannot hit the max that they would have to pay on that plan. There's no possible way. We have asked agents to figure it out on a Med Advantage. What is the maximum you're going to hit on doctor copays, emergency rooms, all that great stuff? You never hit it. But on cancer, you hit it fast,
like that.
Like in month one.
Yeah.
And so not only are you dealing with the 6,700 times 2 or times 1, whatever the case may be, you also, with a Med Advantage and Med Sup, have to remember the most miraculous part of cancer, which is the PDP part of it or the MAPD part of it. One's just integrated, one's a standalone. But what ends up happening is especially now, these seniors are not able to go get chemo treatment because they can't be around people that may have COVID. So they're being prescribed now Part D drugs for chemo or immunotherapy, and they're a lot more expensive. And they think the donut hole is what cost them. It's not the donut hole. It's the 5% catastrophic threshold. So when an agent's selling a client and then they talk about the 20%, that client is still hearing zero premium. So 20% to them is never going to be more than $20 or more than $100. They're thinking small potatoes. 5% on a catastrophic threshold, none of them think that's going to be $14,000 out of their pocket. And for Revlimid, that's what it is. And if you're on Revlimid, you're probably going to be on it for the rest of your life. So being able to buy a cancer plan the younger you are is even better. So if agents are in off season and they're used to working a turning 65 type lead, they now should be working 50 to 64. And the reason I love that marketplace is if you look at AARP, why it got started, it was a man and woman that originally came together and were talking about it. But that's the group that you want to start preparing for what happens at 65. That's why so much final expense is sold in 50 to 64. If you sell cancer plans in 50 to 64, they're locking in the rate. If you sell a short-term recovery plan, they're locking in the rate based on their age, because carriers don't raise premiums on those unless they're a cancer plan that's on a term life schedule or a term life chassis. But Aetna and the ones that we represent, which is Aetna, is on a health chassis. And so there's no reason to raise that rate, because if you buy $10,000 when you're 30, it's still worth $10,000 when you're 60. There's no inflation on it. So those are the things that if you use the education opportunity, you start becoming that hero to that client instead of a zero. You know, you start showing them how you can help them. And that's what I love about the whole cross-selling aspect, is helping the client.
So
yeah, I think
just a quick stat, and I'm curious if either of you have heard this before. I want to say it's something like if you live past 60 years old, you have like a 50% chance of having some type of cancer.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
The stat that's in the Aetna brochure is even stronger to me, because if you're over the age of 55, 77% of the cancers occur in people 55 and older.
Wow.
So it's not 1 out of 1 like life insurance. I mean, that's pretty much 100%.
Right.
You don't get the money, your family does. But like my dad, who ended up dying of cancer, and I always say financial stress killed my father. If he would have had a cancer plan, I think he would have been able to live out the 3 years, because they gave him 6 weeks to 3 years. He lived 5 weeks and 5 days. And if he said it once, he said it 3 or 4 times. But it was, I just wish the death would come sooner because I have life insurance. I don't want to be a burden. I know I'm going to die. And, you know, my dad was my best friend, and that was absolutely the hardest thing for me to hear. But I look at the cancer plan as his legacy, because I just see all the people I've sold personally a cancer plan to, plus all the agents I'm training. My word, I just got a report from Aetna, Steve Patton, earlier today, where during COVID, we knocked it out of the park because we coached all these Med Advantage agents to call back their blocks of business. And they got really good at saying, hey, Mrs. Jones, how are you doing? I just went through this training. I didn't even know this product existed when I talked to you. I want to make sure you at least know it's available. And, you know, I'm going to get 3 no's from you. And, you know, we coach agents to say that, just like you said about being nice to your prospects. You know, whenever somebody would tell me when I was running a lead room that the lead wasn't interested, my comeback was always the same. You must have not been interesting. Because, you know, a lead is nothing but somebody to have
Gaylan,
a
I need to,
conversation with.
if you ever need a job, let me know.
But it's true. I mean, it's just it's like if you were to meet somebody on the street, you know, you don't run from that person. You don't go into your husband or your wife and you say, oh, they weren't interested, so I walked in the house. You have a conversation with them and you let them know why you moved in that neighborhood, why you do what you do. I think it's a cop out, and I'm not real good at that because, you know, for me, this business is all about competition and succeeding. But when you can help somebody else really see a 30% jump in their income, and they're protecting somebody from probably the most horrible disease in our lifetime, which is cancer. You know, that's why the pandemic, I tell people all the time, you have a better statistical chance of getting cancer than you do COVID. But we are shutting down economies for COVID, but we're not, as agents, taking cancer seriously enough to talk to our clients about it. And that makes me sad. I mean, that's why I get so passionate about it. And, you know, I have no problem telling an agent you didn't do your job.
Yeah.
Because they didn't.
Gaylan, I had something
Yes,
I
sir.
wanted to ask you.
Sure.
Pinky
Everybody thinks
Classy.
of.
Did you see that?
Everybody thinks of you, Gaylan, as the queen of the bundle, as they should, right? But I don't think you get enough credit for being a great ambassador of our industry.
Aw.
And what I mean by that is, like, you know, a lot of you guys that are in six-figure Medicare Agent, you know, probably remember I had a problem a couple of months ago with 2 of my Manhattan Life dental vision hearing clients, something that was totally their fault. It wasn't Manhattan's fault at all. They had their policy lapse. They changed their credit card, kind of thing happens all the time. And they went 6 months before they quote unquote didn't realize it. I mean, like you said, you know, who knows if they didn't really realize it, but, you know, you went above and beyond helping me get that reinstated for those clients. They're happy as can be. I mean, and there are so many people in our industry that just rave about you, including me. And I know we've talked about this before, but why do you think insurance has taken a turn from maybe 20 years ago, you know, being so cutthroat? And it probably still is in a certain extent, but we're more of a community now than ever. You know, like what we're doing now probably would never have been possible despite the technology deficiencies, but it never would have been possible 20 years ago. What do you see anything in particular that's caused that shift?
You know, I really do. And I've been very open about it in certain circles. You know, one of the reasons I love being in the Medicare side of the business is there's no real prejudice in it. You know, when I came back to MedSup, because I started in MedSup, but when I came back in MedSup back in 2001, I just noticed everybody was kinder, everybody was more gentle, and everybody was helpful. And, you know, that's more my speed. I love to help people, you know, and I appreciate you saying I'm an ambassador, but I just think sometimes when you're the age I am and you've been in this business as long as I have, you know, that's my
32?
job. 35 years I've been in this business.
I thought you were 32 years old. I was guessing 32 years old, Gaylan. I wasn't guessing how long you're in the industry.
I love you, Glenn. But, that's my job and it's my responsibility. And hopefully what I'm doing is setting a path that others will walk down when they have the opportunity to help somebody. And I'm just very fortunate. I have very good relationships with carriers in this business. And I really try hard to keep my credibility in check. So I don't ask them to do anything that I think would jeopardize their jobs or jeopardize the company. And if it's something that truthfully you can show that a client just really did make a mistake. I love the fact that Manhattan gave those people the benefit of the doubt. I've seen Aetna do it many times. I have good friends at Cigna that have done things for me over the years. There's a company that Cigna owns called United Teachers Associates. That's where I really got my start in the cancer business. I started selling with a company by the name of Columbia Universal and then Freedom. But I ended up meeting a guy by the name of David Morgan who owned United Teachers Associates. And he saw something in me I didn't even see in myself. So when I do these podcasts or people say, hey, how did you break the glass ceiling? You work in a male-dominated business and you don't even have a problem with it. And I'm like, well, one, I never saw a glass ceiling. I'm very well protected by the gentlemen in this business. I mean, they're the first to my defense if somebody wants to tear me a new one. That's a Texas term, by the way. But at the same time, I am friends with a lot of people in the insurance business that are my son's age. And they're very protective of me. I'm Medicare mom. That does not bother me at all. As a matter of fact, I take it as a huge compliment. And I enjoy being around those guys because they are so full of life and energy and feel blessed. And they're not negative. Negative things happen to them, but the way that they handle things just is amazing. One of my most favorite people in this business, and I have several, but one that I absolutely love being around is Robert Beisch. He's Medicare Bob, but Bobby and I have had some really good times together. There's pictures of us all over Facebook where we have given Jagger-ish all kinds of crap. And, we've had our pictures taken with the Tampa Bay quarterback. And, we just have a good time. And it's because he doesn't take it seriously. One of the things he said to me when we were in Costa Rica at the bankers trip is, there are people out there that have sick children and there's not anything they can do for them. We can always go make more money. We're in a job and a position where we have the ability to go make more money. And then I've got another great friend by the name of Danielle Roberts that Christian has interviewed. And she is one of the most amazing women I know. We have a very good relationship. She coincidentally lives in Fort Worth, but she's another great businesswoman. She is incredible. So I'm really, really blessed by the people I get to hang out with. So I think it makes it easy to do things for people when they're kind. And, Christian, obviously you're one of the kindest people on the planet. That's where this started out at. But it's fun to help people. Makes you feel good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 100%. I mean, it's the coolest thing. Cause when I first started, I was basically, I had, in terms of people I knew in the industry, I knew my dad. I knew one of my best friends who started with me, but wasn't always around,
Mm-hmm.
And I knew people that my dad knew, I didn't know anybody else in the industry when I was first starting out. And there's this sense of loneliness I think a lot of agents have that I've certainly have felt. And, I'd say, getting to meet people like you, people like Glenn, people like, Beisch, people like Justin, people like Joanna, anybody that I know in the industry that is just.
Why did I think it was Bach? I feel like I've heard people say Robert Bach. Is that just
They're
me
wrong.
making things up? Okay.
I remember we were doing we were doing a Taco Tuesday and you kept saying it that way and I didn't correct you. I was
Robert,
just like,
I'm sorry if you're watching this. I didn't know.
Oh
then
my goodness.
I even walked away from that Taco Tuesday wondering, I'm like, have I been saying it wrong all this time?
I
No.
swear I thought it was Bach, like the famous musician for some reason.
All the guys will tell you, anytime we're on an incentive trip or we're together, I'm always like, Bobby Bash, get over here. I
Bobby
mean, it's
Bash.
something right out of Waterboy. Bobby Bash, get over here.
Bobby Bash.
But he is just
Awesome.
a ton of fun, and he makes people want to have fun when they're around. And you know, and I just got, I mean, that's, you've talked about Justin and Jagger, and there's just so many great guys in this business that just make it fun. You know, Scotty's another one.
Yes.
Sean, my son's a ton of fun. And, you know, and I'm very fortunate to have a business partner, Taylor Martin, that we just have a ton of fun together. When we go travel, I mean, people crack up because, you know, he'll call me his work wife, but we'll end up at a concert. Like we had a bunch of recruiting to do in New York. We were going to, I think we were going to Connecticut or somewhere. And we ended up going to see John Cougar Mellencamp. And everybody was like, what are y'all doing? And then we saw the Eagles in Kansas City. And, you know, those are just things you can't do in just any other business. You know, I have friends that do all kinds of different things. And they're like, I want to be you when I grow up. And I want to be me when I grow up. I mean, I am just so blessed by being asked to be on things like this and, you know, be able to share what we do. And, you know, and I'm really excited about this year. I think COVID did a lot of good things for people. I think one, it made them appreciate their families more. Certainly did me. I've never been home this much in my entire career. So that's been a game changer. But it's also made us really be able to help agents who have said, man, I don't know if I can sell over the phone. And we've taught them how to do that. Or we've taught them how to call and sell a cancer plan. And we're seeing record numbers because of it. So super excited about what some of the agents are getting ready to see. Because when you cross sell, just like Verizon had Glenn doing that, you know, insurance companies don't make a ton of money off Medicare, because they're squeezing those premiums as tight as they can. So the more, and Christian and I, our very first talk was one on this, and I touched a lot of nerves with a lot of people, because I said, if they don't start selling ancillary, they may look at a commission cut down the road. It's the same way with the Verizon folks. If they don't sell all those little things that go with it, you know, they're making such small margins on the phones, especially after you look at export taxes and all that great stuff. So I think it's been a game changer. Obviously, everybody has been like, I'm ready for this to be over. But there's also things you can look back at this time and go, man, I learned this and I did that. And, you know, that's kind of the way I like to live my life. I like to look at the positives and be excited about the blessings. And honestly, I've not met one successful insurance agent that has not ever been just grateful. It's crazy. The ones that aren't successful aren't so grateful,
Gratitude.
but the ones that are incredibly grateful, and they're giving people. And so I love that part of this business.
I'm super grateful for COVID in the sense of the insurance carriers having to work with remote agents. You know, that's something that I feel like I've been fighting for since I got into the industry like 10 years ago. And, you know, again, coming from a technology background, Verizon, and coming into this industry, I just remember thinking like, this is crazy. Like, why are we faxing applications? You know, so I think that's one thing that COVID definitely did from a beneficial standpoint, you know, forcing carriers to help remote agents be more successful. And I think that's something that we're going to see moving forward, regardless of the pandemic.
I totally agree. I couldn't agree more.
Gaylan, we're getting close to about 5 o'clock here. Where can people find you? Where can people follow you? Talk about Queen of the Bundle Facebook page for a second.
So obviously, I probably don't pay attention to that as much as I should, because I'm so busy following all you guys. But obviously, we have the Facebook page, Queen of the Bundle. And again, that was an idea of, I actually think that was a conversation with me and Medicare Bob. You know, I was like, I need a moniker. And he was like, well, I think he said Queen of the Bundle. I mean, I should be giving myself credit, but he may have given me that. But, the cool thing is that we are on Facebook. We are part, I'm a CEO of Senior Security Benefits. They can obviously go out there and find us through Senior Security Benefits. That's one thing I'm very proud of is my team. I get to work every day with some of the best people in this industry. Our marketers, I feel like, are some of the kindest people on the planet. They're very knowledgeable. As my son will say, you're more of the unicorn and fairy tale girl. We're more of the engineering mind over here, but that's what makes us work. And, I have a great operations staff headed up by Shauna Hendricks. I have a great sales team headed up by Cece Colson. I mean, I just got some really great people. And they all work great together. We have Monday morning sales meetings. We call them Monday morning motivational minutes. And this last week, we had to talk about error control because, we're going into the busiest season of the year and we were making errors we shouldn't have made that we all make, but we were making a little too many. And I'm just really proud of the way my team took that criticism and said, hey, yeah, we'll fix it. So yeah, everybody can find me on Queen of the Bundle. I'm on social media. I'm probably the most active social media 57-year-old you'll find. But I love it. Hey, and at the end of the month, we're going to be at 8% Nation. Of course, my son's like, are we sure that's a good idea with still COVID going on? And I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun to be around people.
Yeah.
And I love motivating people. I think that that's one of the things that I'm very blessed that God gave me a gift of. I like for everybody to be happy and excited about what we're doing. And, sometimes people, are so nice and say, man, I could hear you talk all day. And I'm sure those that are like, would you shut up? But I'm an insurance agent and we talk.
That's what we do. That's right. That's what we do.
Sorry. But
any person that tells you to shut up, Gaylan, I will ban them from this quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Awesome. Man.
It's not gonna fly. That should go in the rules, like the rules you have to agree to when you join. Are you a Medicare agent? Are you this? Are you that? Do you agree to be nice to Gaylan Hendricks at all times?
They
are. I'm very blessed. I don't have anybody that's really mean to me. And like I said, I get so much more out of this than what I give. It's just a ton of fun for me. I mean, like who else is going to sit in their house at 5 o'clock, have a margarita and be able to talk with people that they work with? And, most people at 5 o'clock are like, I'm done. It's the Johnny Paycheck thing. Take this job and shove it kind of mindset. And I just love we don't have that. And I think you guys starting this up is really good. I will take credit for Monday Margarita Day, just going to say. But no, I'm super excited. I think this is going to be a great AEP. I think a lot of people are going to find out it's going to be more fun than they ever thought. And I think a lot of Med Advantage agents are going to start writing a lot of plan in on MedSup, because I think they're starting to find out when they do the cancer presentation that a lot of these people shouldn't be in zero premium. They can't afford the liability. And so I think we're going to see a whole lot more MedSup sales than we've ever seen before. So I'm super excited about that.
I'm all for more MedSup sales.
Me too.
Yeah.
Christian, are you?
Say again?
Are you excited about more MedSup sales?
I am excited about selling everything, but of course more MedSup sales. I love selling MedSups. And of course, we're going to be doing some big orders with Glenn, this AEP. We're planning on it. So, I mean, is there anybody better to get you some MedSup leads than Lead Heroes? I don't know of any.
That's all we do.
I didn't know about it till today, so I would say no.
Now you know, Gaylan. No excuses.
Me and Cece are fixing to have a conversation with Glenn.
Yeah, I'm excited. No, I'm really excited and appreciate you coming on, Gaylan, and chatting with us and talking about something that I think is just, again, a huge missed opportunity among agents, cross-selling. And, when we're talking about leads, your cost to acquire a client, you've already paid that. So why not get more value, get more commission dollars, a higher return on your investment? And again, it's typically better for the client and it's better for you. It's better for the industry. It's better for all of us, right?
You know what's better than the stock market, Glenn?
Do tell.
When a CPA goes down and ROI goes up.
Yes, that's true. Talking about, I have a family member. He's always looking at like a 10% return. That's always his goal. And when you look at CPAs and marketing dollars, I'm like, man, I am a CMO at heart, chief marketing officer. It's what I do. It's what I eat, sleep, and breathe. And I definitely look at, ROI. I have an email coming out tomorrow that's talking about, you buy 40 leads from us, you make 1 sale. This is what your ROI looks like. You make 2 sales. This is what your ROI looks like. So it's so important. And I do think that, like you're saying, compared to some investment opportunities, Christian, I know you've been bragging about some stock deals you've made this year and you've made some money on. But yeah, I think investing in yourself, right, as an agent in your business and figuring out a solid way of spending marketing dollars and bringing clients in through the door, it's hard to beat that from an ROI perspective.
Invested a lot more back into the business than any stocks.
Yeah, smart.
That's the way to go, my friend.
Smart.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for taking some time to tune in. If you're not following Lead Heroes on every social media platform, from YouTube to the Facebook group to everything, go check them out. If you're not following Queen of the Bundle, go check that out. And thank you both for being here with me. I always love Taco Tuesday. I look forward to it. My whole office does too, because I buy them tacos every Tuesday.
Glad to be
You're
back.
a great guy. Well, thank you guys. This was an absolute pleasure, and y'all have a great week. And I wish everybody that's tuned in a great AEP. I know this is a stressful time, but it's also the most rewarding time. So super
100%.
excited.
We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Stay tuned.
All right.
Bye, guys.